Act 1, Scene 7 of Faust Part 2 by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Translated by Bayard Taylor. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 1, Scene 7. Hall of the Knights, dimly lighted. The Emperor and court have entered.
Mine ancient office to proclaim the action is by the spirit's secret influence thwarted. One tries in vain, such wildering distraction can't be explained or reasonably reported. The chairs are ranged, the seats are ready all. The emperor sits, fronting the lofty wall, whereon the tapestry the battles he of the great era may with comfort see. Here now are all, prince, court, and their belonging, benches on benches in the background thronging, and lovers too in these dim hours enchanted, beside their loved ones lovingly are planted. And now, since all have found convenient places, we're ready. Let the spirits show their faces.
Trumpets.
Astrologer.
Begin the drama. 'Tis the sire's command. Ye walls, be severed straightway and expand. Naught hinders, magic answers our desire. The arras flies are shrivelled up by fire. The walls are split, unfolded. In the gloom, a theatre appears to be created. By mystic light are we illuminated, and I ascend to the proscenium.
Mephistopheles, rising to view in the prompter's box.
I hope to win as prompter general glory, for prompting is the devil's oratory.
To the astrologer.
Thou know'st the tune and time the stars that lead, thou wilt my whispers like master heed.
By power miraculous, we here behold a massive temple of the days of old. Like Atlas, who erewhile the heavens upbore, the serried columns stand, an ample store. Well may they for the weight of stone suffice, since two might bear a mighty edifice.
Architect.
That the antique? As fine it can't be rated. I'd sooner style it awkward, overweighted. Coarse is called noble, and unwieldy grand. Give me the slender shafts that soar expand. To lift the mind, a pointed arch may boast. Such architecture edifies us most.
Receive with reverence the star-granted hours. Let magic words bind reason's restless powers, but in return unbind, to circle free, the wings of splendid, daring fantasy. What you have boldly wished, see now achieved. Impossible 'tis, therefore to be believed.
Faust rises to view on the other side of proscenium.
In priestly surplice, crowned, a marvellous man, he now fulfills what he in faith began. With him a tripod from the gulf comes up. I send the incense orders from the cup. He arms himself, the work to consecrate, and henceforth it can be but fortunate.
Faust, sublimely.
Ye mothers, in your name, who set your throne in boundless space eternally alone, and yet companioned, all the forms of being, in movement lifeless ye are round you seeing. Whate'er once was, there burns and brightens free, in splendour, for 'twould fain eternal be, and ye allot it, with all potent might, to day's pavilions and the vaults of night. Life seizes some along his gracious course, others arrests the bold magician's force, and he, bestowing as his faith inspires, displays the marvellous that each desires.
The glowing key has scarcely touched the cup, and lo, through all the space a mist rolls up. It creeps about, and like a cloudy train, spreads, rounding, narrowing, parting, closed again. And now, behold a spirit masterpiece. Music is born from every wandering fleece. The tones of air I know not how they flow. Wherever they move, all things melodies grow. The pillared shaft, the triglyph even rings. I think, indeed, the whole bright temple sings. The vapours settle as the light film clears. The beauteous youth, with rhythmic step, appears. Here ends my task. His name I need not tell. Who doth not know the gentle Paris well?
Lady.
Oh, what a youthful bloom and strength I see!
A second lady.
Fresh as a peach, and full of juice is he.
A third lady.
The finely drawn, the sweetly swelling lip.
A fourth lady.
From such a cup no doubt you'd like to sip.
A fifth lady.
He's handsome, if a little unrefined.
A sixth lady.
He might be somewhat gracefuller, to my mind.
Knight.
The shepherd I detect. I find him wearing no traces of the prince or courtly bearing.
Knight 2.
Oh yes, half naked is the youth, not bad. But let us see him first in armour clad.
He seats himself with such a gentle grace.
You'd find his lap, perchance, a pleasant place.
He lifts his arm so lightly over his head.
Tamburlaine.
'Tis not allowed. How thoroughly ill-bred.
Your lord find fault with all things evermore.
To stretch and yawn before the emperor?
He only acts. He think he's quite alone.
Even the play should be politely shown.
Now sleep falls on the graceful youth so sweetly.
Now will he snore. 'Tis natural, completely.
Young lady.
Mixed with the incense steam, what odour precious steals to my bosom and my heart refreshes.
Older lady.
Forsooth, it penetrates and warms the feeling. It comes from him.
Oldest lady.
His flower of youth unsealing. It is youth's fine ambrosia ripe, unfading, the atmosphere around his form pervading.
Helena comes forward.
So, that is she? My sleep she would not waste. She's pretty, truly, but she's not my taste.
There is nothing more for me to do, I trow. As man of honour, I confess it now. The beauty comes, and add I tongues of fire. So many songs did beauty ever inspire. Who sees her, of his wits is dispossessed, and who possessed her was too highly blessed.
Have I still eyes? Deep in my being springs the fount of beauty, in a torrent pouring. Heavenly gain my path a terror brings. The world was void and shut to my exploring. And, since my priesthood, how hath it been graced? Enduring 'tis, desirable, firm based. And let my breath of being blow to waste, if I for thee unlearn my sacred duty. The form that long erewhile my fancy captured, that from the magic mirror so enraptured, was but a frothy phantom of such beauty. 'Tis thou, to whom the stir of all my forces, the essence of my passions courses, love, fancy, worship, madness, here I render.
Mephistopheles from the box.
Be calm. You'll lose your rôle to be so tender.
Tall and well formed, too small the head alone.
Just see her foot. A heavier never was shown.
Diplomatist.
Princess of her style I've often seen. From head to foot she's beautiful, I ween.
Courtier.
She near the sleeper steals, so soft and sly.
How ugly ne'er that youthful purity.
Poet.
Her beauty's light is on him like a dawn.
Endymion and Luna, as they're drawn.
Quite right. The yielding goddess seems to sink and o'er him bend, his balmy breath to drink. Enviable fate, a kiss, the cup is full.
Duenna.
Before all people, that is more than cool.
A fearful favour to the boy.
Be still, suffer the shade to do whatever it will.
She slips away light-footed. He awakes.
Just as I thought, another look she takes.
He stares. What haps to him a marvel is.
But none to her what she before her sees.
She turns around to him with dignity.
I see, she means to put him through his paces. All men in such a case act stupidly. Then too he thinks that first he's won her graces.
Majestically fine. She pleases me.
The courtesan! How very vulgar she!
Just where he is where I'd like to be.
Who would not fain be caught in such sweet meshes?
Through many a hand hath passed that jewel precious. The gilding, too, is for the most part gone.
She has been worthless from her 10th year on.
Each takes the best that chance for him obtains. I'd be contented with these fair remains.
A learned man.
I freely doubt, though I distinctly see, 'tis doubtful if the genuine one she be. The present leads us to exaggeration, and I hold fast the written old relation. I read that, truly, ere her bloom was blighted, the Trojan greybeards greatly she delighted. And here, methinks, it tallies perfectly. I am not young, yet she delighteth me.
No more a boy, a bold, heroic form. He clasps her, who can scarce resist the storm. With arm grown strong he lifts her high and free. Means he to bear her off?
Rash fool, let be! Thou darst? Thou hurst not? Hold! I'll be obeyed.
The spectral drama thou thyself hast made.
A word more. After all we have seen today, I call the piece the rape of Helena.
What? Rape? Am I for nothing here? To stead me, is not this key still shining in my hand? Through realms of terror, wastes and waves it led me, through solitudes to where I firmly stand. Here foothold is, reality's here centre. The strife with spirits here the mind may venture, and on its grand its double lordship enter. How far she was, and nearer how divine! I'll rescue her and make her doubly mine. Ye mothers, mothers, crown this wild endeavour. Who knows her once must hold her, and for ever.
What art thou doing, Faust? Oh, look at him! He seizes her, the form is growing dim. He turns the key against the youth, and, lo, it touches him. Woe's me! Away now! Woe on woe!
Explosion. Faust lies upon the earth. The spirits dissolve in vapour. Mephistopheles, taking Faust upon his shoulders.
You have it now. Oneself with fools to hamper, at last even on the devil puts a damper.
Darkness. Tumult. End of Act 1, Scene 7. Act 2, Scene 1 of Faust Part 2 by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Translated by Bayard Taylor. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. A high-arched, narrow Gothic chamber, formerly Faust's, unchanged. Mephistopheles, coming forth from behind a curtain. While he holds it up and looks behind him, Faust is seen lying stretched out upon an antiquated bed.
Lie there, ill-starred, seduced, unwise, to bonds that surely hold the lover, whom Helena shall paralyze, not soon his reason shall recover.
Looking around him.
I look about, and through the glimmer, unchanged, uninjured, all appears. The coloured window panes, methinks, are dimmer, The cobwebs have increased with years. The ink is dry, the paper old and brown, but each thing in its place I find. Even the quill is here laid down, wherewith his compact with the devil he signed. Yea, deeper in, the barrel's red with trace of blood I coaxed him then to shed. A thing so totally unique the great collectors would go far to seek. Half from its hook the old fur robe is falling, that ancient joke of mine recalling, how once I taught the boy such truth as still, it may be, nourishes the youth. The wish returns with zest acuter, aided by thee, thou rough disguise, once more to take on airs as college tutor, as one infallible in one's own eyes. The savants this assurance know, the devil lost it long ago.
He shakes the fur which he has taken down. Moths, crickets, and beetles fly out.
Welcome and hail to thee, patron, today. We're flying and humming, we hear and obey. Singly and silently, us thou hast sown. Hither by thousands, Father, we've flown. The imp in the bosom is snugly concealed, but lice in the fur coat are sooner revealed.
What glad surprise I feel from this young life bestowed! One reaps in time if one has only sowed. Once more I'll shake the ancient fleeces out, still here and there a chance one flies about. Off and around, aye, in 100,000 nooks hasten to hide yourselves, among the books, there in the pasteboard's wormy holes, here in the smoky parchment scrolls, in dusty jars that broken lie, and yonder skull with empty eye. In all this trash and mould unmatched, crotchets for ever must be hatched.
He puts on the fur mantle.
Come, once again upon my shoulders fall. Once more am I the principal. But 'tis no good to ape the college, for where are those who will my claim acknowledge?
He pulls the bell, which gives out a shrill, penetrating sound, causing the halls to tremble and the doors to fly open. Famulus, tottering hither down the long, dark gallery.
What a sound! What dreadful quaking! Stairs are rocking, walls are shaking. Through the coloured windows brightening, I behold the sudden lightning. Floors above me crack and tremble, lime and lumber round me tumble, and the door, securely bolted, is by magic force unfolded. There, how terrible! A giant stands in Faust's old fur, defiant as he looks, and beckons thither. I could fall, my senses wither. Shall I fly or shall I wait? What, oh, what shall be my fate?
Mephistopheles, beckoning.
Come hither, friend. Your name is Nicodemus.
Most honoured sir, such is my name, Oremus.
Dispense with that.
Oh joy, you know me yet.
Old, and a student still? I don't forget, most mossy sir. Also a learned man continues study, since naught else he can. 'Tis thus one builds a moderate house of cards. The greatest minds ne'er end them afterwards. Your master is a skilful fellow, though. The noble Dr. Wagner all must know. The first in all the learned world is he, who now together holds it potently. Wisdom increasing, daily making clearer, how thirst for knowledge listener and hearer! A mighty crowd around him flocks, none for the rostrum e'er were meeter. The keys he holds as doth St. Peter. The under and the upper he unlocks, his light above all others sparkles surer. No name or fame beside him lives, even that of Faust has grown obscurer. 'Tis he alone invents and gives.
Pardon, most honoured sir, if I am daring to contradict you in declaring all that upon the subject has no bearing. For modesty he sees a lot apart. The incomprehensible disappearing of that great man to him is most uncheering. From his return he hopes new strength and joy of heart, as in the days of Dr. Faust, To room, since he's away, all things unchanged, waits for his master long estranged to venture in. I scarce presume what stars must govern now the sky. It seemed as if the basement quivered, the door-posts trembled, bolts were shivered. You had not entered otherwise.
Where may his present dwelling be? Lead me to him, bring him to me.
His prohibition is so keen, I do not dare to intervene. For months his time unto the great work giving, in most secluded silence he is living. The daintiest of distinguished learners, his face is like a charcoal burner's, from nose to ears all black and deadened. His eyes from glowing flames are reddened. Thus he each moment pants and longs, and music make the clattering tongues.
At entrance why should he deny me? I'll expedite his luck if he'll but try me.
The famulus goes off. Mephistopheles seats himself with gravity.
Scarce have I taken my position here, when there, behind, I see a guest appear. I know him. He is of the school new founded, and his presumption will be quite unbounded.
Baccalaureus storming along the corridor.
Doors and entrances are open. Well, at last there's grounds for hoping that no more in mouldy lumber death-like doth the living slumber, to himself privations giving, till he dies of very living. All this masonry, I'm thinking, to its overthrow is sinking, and unless at once we hurry, us will crash and ruin bury. Daring though I be, 'twere murther, should I dare to venture further. What is that I see before me? Here, what years have rolled o'er me? Shy and unsophisticated, I as honest freshman waited. Here I let the greybeards guide me, here their babble edified me. Out of dry old volumes preaching, what they knew they lied in teaching. What they knew themselves believed not, stealing life that years retrieve not. What in yonder cell benighted, one still sits, obscurely lighted. Nearer now I see astounded, sits he still, with furs surrounded. Truly as I saw him last, roughest fleeces round him cast. Then adroit he seemed to be, not yet understood by me, but today will not avail him. Oh, I'll neither fear nor fail him. If ancient sir, that bald head sideways bending, hath not been dipped in Letty's river cold, see hitherward your grateful scholar wending. Outgrown the academic rods of old, you're here as then when I began, but I am now another man.
I'm glad, my belle, your visit brought me. Your talents then I rated high. The worm, the chrysalid, soon taught me the future brilliant butterfly. Your curly locks and ruffle laces a childish pleasure gave. You wooed the graces. A queue, I think, you've never worn? But now your head is cropped and shorn. Quite bold and resolute you appear, but don't go, absolute, home from here.
Old master, in your old place leaning, think how the time is sped the while. Spare me your words of double meaning, we take them now in quite another style. You teased and vexed the honest youth, you found it easy then, in truth, to do what no one dares today.
If to the young the simple truth we say, the green ones find it nowise pleasant play. But afterwards, when years are over, and they the truth through their own hide discover, then they conceive themselves have found it out. The master was a fool, one hears them shout.
A rogue perhaps, what teacher will declare the truth to us exactly fair and square. Each knows the way to lessen or exceed it. Now stem, now lively, as the children need it.
Beyond a doubt, there is a time to learn, but you are skilled to teach, I now discern. Since many a moon, some circles of the sun, the riches of experience you have won.
Experience mist and froth alone, nor with the mind at all co-equal. Confess what one has always known, it's not worth knowing in the sequel.
Mephistopheles, after a pause.
It's long seemed so to me. I was a fool, my shallowness I now must ridicule.
I'm glad of that, I hear some reason yet, the first old man of sense I've ever met.
I sought for hidden treasures grand and golden, and hideous coals and ashes were my share.
Confess that now your skull, though bald and olden, is worth no more than yon empty there.
Mephistopheles, amiably.
Know'st thou, my friend, how rude thou art to me?
One lies in German. Would one courteous be?
Mephistopheles, wheeling his chair still nearer to the proscenium, to the spectators.
Up here am I deprived of light and air. Shall I find shelter down among you there?
It is presumptuous that one will try still to be something when the time's gone by. Man's life lives in his blood, and where in sooth so stirs the blood as in the veins of youth. There living blood as freshest power pulsates, and newer life from its own life creates. Then something's done, then moves and works the man. The weak fall out, the sturdy take the van. While half the world beneath our yoke is brought, what then have you accomplished, nodded, thought, dreamed and considered, plan and always plan? Age is an ague fever, it is clear, with chills of moody want and dread. When one has passed his 30th year, one then is just the same as dead. 'Twere best betimes to put you out o' the way.
The devil here has nothing more to say.
Save through my will, no devil can there be.
Mephistopheles, aside.
The devil, though, will trip thee presently.
This is use noblest calling and most fit. The world was not ere I created it. The sun drew from out the orient sea. The moon began her changeful course with me. The day put on his shining robes to greet me. The earth grew green and burst in flowers to meet me. And when I beckoned from the primal night, the stars unveiled their splendors to my sight. Who saved myself to you deliverance brought from commonplace of restricted thought. I, proud and free, even as dictates my mind, follow with joy the inward light I find, and speed along in mine own ecstasy, darkness behind, the glory leading me.
Exit.
Go hence, magnificent original. What grief on thee would insight cast? Who can think wise or stupid things at all, that were not thought already in the past? Yet even from him we're not in special peril. He will, ere long, to other thoughts incline. The must may foam absurdly in the barrel, nathless it turns at last to wine.
To the younger parterre, which does not applaud.
My words, I see, have left you cold. For you, my children, it may fall so. Consider now, the devil's old. To understand him, be old also.
End of Act 2, Scene 1.